Welcome to Marvel Duel on G4G. I'm your host, Napalm Dawn. So, to the people who showed up to the Twitch stream on Friday the 20th, thank you very much. Thank you for coming out and supporting the Twitch channel. The special guest was Goofy Troll, who is the developer of Marvel Avengers Alliance Redux. He and I had talked for a few weeks about having a Q&A session on Twitch. Real life, unfortunately, was getting in his way a little bit, and by the time he was available, I'd started my new job. I wasn't really too sure if I would be able to pull it off during the week, but I got lucky and the stars aligned, so Goofy was able to put himself out there to the community unfiltered and answer questions about how Marvel Avengers Alliance Redux is going. Now, unlike Redux, here we are looking at a Marvel mobile game. But we're looking at it on BlueStacks. If you want to play Marvel Duel, you need either Android or an Android emulator, and things like APK Pure or Up to Down Store or Cool App and things like that. Life is going pretty good over here for me. I'm one rank away from a completed season pass, which is not something I've done yet in the game, and I will get Angela for Thor and the Gwenpool card back. Now, I haven't seen an Angela yet, but I've seen plenty of Gwenpools, and usually I fear the people who run this back because they do seem to have a higher level of talent. I don't know if that's what you've run into, but it is for me. Catching up with my superheroes, my Star-Lord is 11, my Thor is 12, my Captain Marvel just dinged 10, so she unlocked the special defense ability for skill decks. My Iron Man is 9 and almost there to 10, and he unlocks the massive card return, the Wrath of God from Magic the Gathering, except instead of a kills, it's a return. This is probably super massive for invocation decks. You're gonna need to maybe take a bullet for a round while the swap happens, but then if you drop a massive invocation round, come out of that, back on the next round, run armor maintenance, put out a little scrubby deck over there, and then duplicate that invocation round again. Things might get out of hand a little bit on that one. That could be a lot of fun. My Spider-Man is a paltry 7. My Hell is my highest of 15. And my Elektra is a pretty reasonable 11 because I get a lot of dailies to run her. So, when I've been dueling on ladders, I have been using Gen Conk Modded, which is one of General Martian's deck, modified through myself and assisted by Darth Plato. And then on casual, I tend to run a lot of Stun Boys, or starting deck, which is basically Asgardian, and I just happen to be on an Iron Army kick because I had a daily for purchasing Stark related cards in a game. And how things have been going over there, speaking of Iron Army won the last one that I did. A little bit of an odd loadout. Drax with the Yak Arrow, and then we have Iron Man busting people in the head, Moonstone busting people in the head, so she would weaken people that Drax was opposite of. I thought it was actually people that were opposite her, and I kind of misread that over there, which is why she was here. She was set here to take out Kamala Khan with a missile. The Prime Armor with the whip, Ghost Suit, Red Hulk in there. Actually, Red Hulk did a lot of damage himself that final round, but he is there to buff up the other attackers. He was running a Yak Arrow. He actually should be here on the other side of Hela, except Moondragon flipped over and I wanted to clone Hela from the Loki staff. Before that, Stun Boys took number 1 in a casual mode and took number 1 again. This is, or excuse me, number 2 on that one. This one 13 hours ago is one that I had done on the Friday stream, where Sandman was jacked up and Doc Ock was jacked up, and they were doing a lot of the work. And here was Abomination coming out, stunning the field. Spider-Woman is allowed to go because of the crit. And yeah, that was kind of interesting. So doing pretty good. Back up in black gold, which really, really shocks me. 50% win rate. I'm still lower than the lowest or the highest that I've been. But being back in black gold is fun. It's definitely more than I would have expected. So going over the card changes over here, there's some big ones. Tony Stark now doesn't assemble AI Systems, Creed Blaster, Hydra Bomb, Bullseye Throwing Knife, Suitcase Armor, Spider-Man Mask, Mad Driven Bomb, Accuser's Hammer, Moonstones, Nanotech Symbiote, Gungnir, and Stormbreaker. Now you might sort of kind of get an idea what the trend is over there, and the trend is a nerf to the Tony Stark card. The reason why is that it's possible when you are assembling to get something that you know the field can't use. If nobody's running Tony cards and you get the chance to assemble AI assistants, well then why the fuck not? You'd get the mass amount of gems, or gold. However, yeah, gems. However, people would get suitcase armor, which maybe wouldn't do anything to them. If they didn't have Iron Man cards to sell, you've handed people a hot turd and you made off like a bandit for it. You kind of get the mental image of a old-timey black and white evil villain twirling his mustache after selling something completely trash to the innocent hero of the story, like the magic beans, because you gave them a suitcase armor that they can't use, so they just throw it away for one pathetic gem. This unfortunately fixes that, so people who use Tony Stark a lot now can't get lucky and essentially get all those gems for giving people a bunch of trash that they can't use. Now the risk reward shoots up in favor of risk. Doc Ock goes down to 2 action times total. Green Goblin goes down to 2 action times total. The 1 standard and then +1. Drax goes down to 2. However, it took a nerf. I don't think that nerf was needed for his power, because you're already sort of chopping him at the ankles by reducing his action time, but then to further reduce his damage, not crazy about that. Drax Assault used to be give a Guardian of the Galaxy 5 power and then Assault take action and Annihilate. Now it gives 10 power and just Annihilate. You could decide whether that one is a nerf or a buff or just a rework over there. I want to say that in one aspect it could be a nerf because Assault take action's gone, but then in a way it's a buff because it has 10 power. You could say, well, the 10 power is to hopefully let the character live long enough to use it. But then again, you know, if you take 5 points of damage and you were at 10, you're going to drop down to 5, weakening your attack run over there. So this is interesting. I'd say it's kind of neutral-ish. Gamora, unlike Drax, is allowed to cap at 3 action times. Chewie went from attack to support. He used to have defeat all friendly characters with power lower than the card. So this is a good way to set up a lot of last words if you wanted to. Very high risk reward strategy over here. Now he has, before taking an action, defeat 2/2/2 friendly characters with a power lower than his card. If that's true, what are the ones that are picked? So because Chewie never goes beyond the amount, if there are two people on the other side that are lower, what happens? If there's three or more, how does the game pick if a whole bunch of people qualify or a whole bunch of cards qualify? Moonstone, her last words went from dealing 4 damage 3 opponents, escalating 1 to 4. It's now she deals 3 to 6 to 12 damage to all opponents, not 4 times. So if you look at the old damage, 4 times 1 for 4 at star level 1, 4 times 2 for 8, and then eventually getting up to 16 damage to 3 opponents. Well, if it was the middle of, I don't know, this one again feels like a nerf, because now it's deal 3, 6, 12 to all. So previously, well, it could ramp up 4 damage to 3 4 times. And what happens if people start losing enough power that they shoot past somebody who used to be higher than them? That'll be interesting. Moonstone is what we were talking about. Elektra, the power goes from 4 to 7. Now, unfortunately, that one is a bit of a buff. Same for Heimdall. Blade, previous skill, invocation for each completed quest, gain 1, 2, 4 action times. Now, and I would believe this would really pretty much classify as a buff. After taking an action, gain N power and recover all damage, where N equals the number of completed quests. Pretty strong. Heimdall's power goes up. Curse's power goes up. Ant-Man goes up. And then Ultron also had some work done too. So, I'm going to jump ahead to the coverage of Realm of Champions over here. I will say that the two differ so incredibly. It's rather interesting. Marvel Duel can consume a lot of your time playing it and using casual and other areas to test your decks and everything. On the flip side, I have Realm of Champions, which is super quick as a game. Matchmaking is always super fast. There's always things going on once you get on the map. With Realm of Champions, it's cool. However, the maps are pretty close. I unfortunately have not seen one that hasn't just largely leaned one way or another. When you're in those fights, especially against the AI, there's one day where one combination doesn't do well, and then the exact same combination with the same people could do great next day. So we'll move over to Marvel Revolution now and talk about that game. Alright, so here we are in part 2, which is going to be Marvel's Realm of Champions. So, in part 1, of course, we were talking about Marvel Duel and the fact that it's doing pretty well for itself for a game that is mostly just in the Pacific Rim. It's very, very popular, and most of the people who play it like it and continue to play it. I myself am now back up to Black Gold, finished my season pass, and play the game pretty much daily. Now, Realm of Champions over here, I play daily also, and I do like it. However, a lot of people are starting to get rather disenchanted with the game. A lot of people that I run into say that they get bored with it. So it's a very common theme with the people who try Realm of Champions. They want more out of it. They expect more out of it. It's not giving them enough. And as of right now, there are only 3 different modes in the game. 2 of which are available to beginners, one of which you have to work towards. So, if I were to go here to champions, here's the champions that I have unlocked, which is basically everybody in the game. The last unlock that I had was Storm. The one before that was Black Panther, or Shuri really. And then I had all of the others for quite some time. As you can see, their gear is pretty much balanced across the board. Spider-Man's lagging a little bit behind. Now, I've discovered that in the last 2, maybe 2.5 weeks or so, what determines a win pretty much is having a good Storm on your team. That's really the key over here. She is such a powerful field controller. She pretty much makes the game. If you have a Storm and the other team doesn't, you're going to win. If it's vice versa, you're probably going to lose. If both sides have a Storm, generally it's the person who's playing the better Storm. That's the team that's going to win. I'll show you why. If we look at her abilities, number 1, Elemental Blast. Storm Flash freezes the air. Storm Flash freezes the air around her target to deal cold damage and inflict chill on enemies caught by the blast. Inflicting chill on a chilled enemy freezes them solid. Frozen Barb. Storm freezes the target area to raise icy barbs that deal cold damage to enemies and inflict chill. Inflicting chill on chilled enemy freezes them solid. The barb leaves a patch of slippery ice that inflicts a slow. And then her ultimate, Storm channels a massive vortex of frosty terror around her to periodically deal cold damage and inflict chill on all enemies. Inflicting chill freezes. So, combining these abilities is really what does it. Combining her 1 and 2, or any of them with her ultimate, that's pretty much the game winner there. Her sphere of influence on the battlefield, because of those abilities, is rather huge. Her little blizzard circle is really big, and it's very easy to catch people in it. And if she has her other abilities up, you're stuck. You are immobilized, you're not going to move, and you're cannon fodder. If you tag team with, say, an Iron Man whose big beam is up, you're going to be inflicting a lot of damage. The only drawback to her is that when she's doing her ultimate, she just sits there. And she's essentially rooted for the entire channel, and it makes her pretty vulnerable. A good Iron Man who sits outside of her sphere of influence and pegs you with the big long beam, you're probably going to have some trouble. But that's really the only circumstance where Storm has a little bit of a weakness. Now here, you'll notice that I have Deathmatch. Deathmatch is available only when you reach the next tier on your characters. So if we look at my Web Warrior over here, you'll notice this green hexagon up by the 111. That is his tier, which is Recruit. Everybody starts at Newcomer, and when you win a bunch, you eventually get up to Recruit, then Warrior, then Defender. I don't have any Warriors right now, but everybody is a Recruit. Once somebody is a Recruit, Deathmatch opens up. However, that character must be a Recruit in order to get into the Deathmatch. If you are still a newcomer, you will not see the Deathmatch option. I was getting a little weirded out when one of the people that I was discussing this game with on the Marvel Avengers Alliance Redux Facebook group, he was like, yeah, I dislike the game, I keep getting my ass kicked, it's boring, blah, blah, blah. I said, give me a screenshot of your roster, and I saw a deathmatch in his screenshots. And I'm like, holy hell, why is that not available to me? And I kept trying to see if maybe I needed, oh, there's a storm. Well, we'll see. I kept trying to see if maybe I needed to update my APK, and that's what the problem was. No, it's because it was by rank. I thought maybe it was like a mode that he had updated the game and it was available. But no, it was the rank thing. So, see, there's Storm. If the Hulk gets up here, she can, by the way, win a 2-on-1. If she's got enough health and the others are low enough and they clump, she could probably take it. Because I've done it. I actually managed to hold off the center point long enough that somebody who had died respawned and came back into it and assisted, and we won. Surprisingly, the enemy Storm is not winning it for the other team. I'm rather surprised. Now, something that has changed about the game, that person was dead, that was a waste, is that now, if you don't have enough people when you're matchmaking, you will fight bots. So, if you queue up and 2 other people queue up, and you form a 3-man, but there isn't another 3 people out there, you actually fight bots. One of the times when I had topped out on a character, I took a screenshot. I was so proud of myself. I'm like, yay, I haven't played this character yet. And here I am, number 1. And then I looked down and everybody on the other side was summoner. I was like, oh shit. So here it looks like the Hulk was the big winner. He did 38% of the damage, as did I, but he was 6-0 in his kills. I did 56% of health loss prevented by shields, and I was the only one who did mobilization on my team. But you notice the enemy Storm also had 3. I'm kind of surprised that that one was that easy, considering there was a Storm over there. So what is going on in the game now is a little bit of an event. And that is this thing, Welcome to the Battle World. It basically describes that from November 18th to December 8th, there's a special event going on for your champions. Battling on a house's territory will award you progress towards these objectives, which award gear for that house's champion. For example, battling in the Ironmongery or the Palladium Mines will earn you gear for your Iron Legionnaire. So essentially, it is tied to these rewards over here on the event. Basically, as you cycle through the different maps, you will get gear for those heroes. So Gamma Horde, play 5 games on the Colosseum of the Badlands, Temple of Vishanti, play 3 games on the Astral Plane, Kingdom of Wakanda. Shuri will get gear if you do 5 games on Warrior Falls and Acropolis and everything. So there's a little bit of an event going on, which is pretty cool. Now, the big question is, I'm sure you're going to wonder this. Napalm, do you think it's boring? You said a lot of people find it's boring. Maybe you've tried it. Maybe you find it boring. I don't actually think it's that bad. And the reason why I don't think it's that bad is due to the fact that the game is so fast. If you just have 5, maybe 10 minutes tops, but I'd say anywhere between 5 and 8 minutes or so, this is the game for you. If you're like on a train or a bus commuting to work, or maybe you're in the car and somebody else is driving, or you just have, 15 minutes on a smoke break while you're at work and you got this installed on your phone, this is a great little time killer. If you're a fan of Marvel and maybe you don't have enough time for Duel, or you're boycotting future fights, so you're not playing it, Strike Force, you've done everything you want to do for the day, this is a really, really good quick in and quick out game. It's not going to be a good multitasking game because you do need two hands for this. So it's not going to be one where you can play it while you're like doing something on the computer, or like playing World of Warcraft Shadowlands or something. And also, I haven't run into an emulator yet that is capable. My dodge wasn't up. That is capable of running this yet, because mostly there was a problem parsing that package, which usually means this game expects a certain Android operating system to install and work properly, and none of the emulators, at least that I've tried, which has mostly been Nox, are capable of installing it. So here, the Hulk went unstoppable, but he would have been frozen had I caught him in it. Here's Storm's ultimate. You'll see I'm rooted, but I took out that Hulk. And I have an Iron Man, so if that Iron Man was hanging back at the time that I froze that Hulk in place, he could have used that ability on him from a safe distance and been pretty well protected by it. So let's see if we can get the combo. Yes. So that Shuri got annihilated. Ooh, she dodged out of it, but my ultimate's up. And I captured it because I was on the inside of her. Wow. That was pure luck there. That was not planned at all. Oh, that's a friendly Iron Man beam. I'm so used to getting out of it when I see it, just strict reflex. There you go. That's the fun power of Storm. Granted, the one Storm did lose, but look at my stats over here. 7-0, the majority of the damage, and the only 3 stuns on the server. I really would recommend people get good at 2 things. Sorcerer Supreme for the healing, and Storm for the crowd control. I think really, really good teams right now would probably be Shuri, Storm, and Sorcerer Supreme. Sorcerer Supreme handles the healing, Storm crowd controls, and Shuri uses bleeds and just a natural evasive ability to do all the damage while everybody else is crowd controlled and just kind of pepper away and just pick. Shuri was probably the first character that I got really, really good at and started getting some good win streaks with. It just, I don't know. There are times where I feel like the enemies are just not focusing on the right character, and I've been on Shuri and been left alone. And I keep sneaking around people and swipe at them, and they bleed out a little bit. And nobody's paying attention to me. I'm like, kind of ripping you up right now. Why isn't anybody trying to kill me? But anyway, so that's Realm of Champions right now. I understand the thought that people find it boring, and I get it. And if you're getting your ass kicked, you're going to be thinking it's boring a lot quicker than when you're winning, like you've seen me do here with Storm and Spider-Man. Maybe with the fact that you're playing bots now, maybe you're going to get some wins under your belt against non-humans. You're going to get used to the character. the flow of the abilities, the heavy attacks, the dodges, and maybe you'll just get to the point where you've got a toon that you're really, really good at, and then the regular wins start coming in, and maybe you're not bored anymore. So looking at the store, I hate what they do with this gear. Yes, you know the star level and everything, but like that's a 2-star. Everything else is a 1. But you don't know if this is an upgrade or not. I mean, you can't see the stats, and you're spending the real life money converted currency on it, except these, here, this one, the Gloom Gale Legs is gold. I'm not a fan of that. I wish you could find out the stats instead of it being random. So here's a typical command store, expensive. You barely get anything for the $5 amount, and then jacks up to 10, 20, 50, and 100. And then you have these crates for 100 a pop. Now, these crates really aren't too bad. I bought the Storm crate earlier because she was my lowest item level character, and she got actually some really good gear out of it. She got the helmet she's wearing now, plus that 114, and she also got the 119 and the 118 chest you see over here. So, the crates aren't too bad. Once you get above 500 credits, take your lowest toon and get a crate for it, and I think you'll be happy. Or your most favorite toon, if that's what you've been doing. So anyway, guys, there's Realm of Champions. I can understand if people find it boring just because of the 3 modes and whatnot, but give it a try. Try to insert it into your life where you have just quick moments to play, and maybe you'll be happy with it. Catch you later, guys. Thanks for checking out the video.